Mate, we'll do it in Nimbin time. We're going to get there.
When? Should we go tomorrow, or can we have some days off, clean up the place, get better prepared, more work on the joint? Or do we have to go tomorrow?
Let him clean up his act first. Absolutely. Agree? Yeah!
And who's coming? Come on, put your hands up. Come on. One. Not a big crowd. One. Yes! 2, 3. Come on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're from Canberra, you can do work there. Come on. Who's going? Good, I've got a friend in Canberra too. We need all the friends in Canberra we can get right now. Good. So anyway, pick it up, spread it around and think about it. We've had some great parties in Canberra in front of Parliament House. I'd love some Damiana. Thank you.
Another local man, he's Rusty Harris. Thank you very much, Rusty. Rusty, the councils, Lismore Council, I like to thank them as well as all the volunteers. They get paid. By the way, Gary's right about the 420 thing. Government, they're starting to finish days' work on the rosters at 4:15. Have you noticed that? It's a new thing coming in. 4:15 finishes.
4:20.
Rusty is the only place who kept his whole food place immaculate, I heard. I bet there were a few others. Recycled everything up at the NRMA chill. Have a word, Rusty. You want it? You want it?
Yeah. Well, my grandfather's an Anzac and a digger, and that's why I'm here really, but we're here for the trip, so hope you get down to Canberra, do the right thing. Yeah, what can I say, mate? I got done by the sniffer dogs 23 times to court over 4 years. We had festivals nearly every time. No permission, we just did it. That's what you got to do these days, you just do it. Walk your talk. Put up or shut up. Thank you.
Someone just said Damiana's $200 an ounce up the street today. No. Now here's a man who's serious about his cause. Andrew Katelaris, he's been here every MardiGrass for a long time, longer than I can remember, and he's been pushing the line heaps down in Sydney. He's grown the only legal medical cannabis I know in New South Wales, and lots of industrial crops. Anyway, I think that, he's annoyed them and they're out for him, and he's going to tell you about it. And he got busted last night here at MardiGrass. I haven't heard of one arrest at MardiGrass. Anyone heard of an arrest? Lots of cautions, lots of, what do you call it? Lots of court attendance notices. No arrest. Any arrests? No arrests. It is such a riot. Mate. Dr. Andrew Katelaris.
Now, hello everyone. It's been reasonably, maybe not the best MardiGrass. Now, I was born in 1955, which people who are old enough to know, that was, for the people born then, the conscription of sending young 19-year-old Australian males to Vietnam to suffer sort of chemical contamination and moral contamination by having to sort of go to war with third world countries. And the movement there was to burn the draft card. The draft card was a lottery ticket you got in reverse to the Cannabis Cup. If your number came up, off you went to the jungles of Vietnam. And the protest then was to burn your draft card. Well, I did get a court attendance notice last night. 7 of them turned up. Anyway, there it goes. If I can't do it with... I got better ones than that. I got much better ones than that. Now, back on Australia Day, ironically, the year before last, 30 police turned up. I only got 7 this time, but 30 police turned up and individually pulled up and counted, which I'm surprised they could actually manage, 48,355 plants. But they managed because they could tie them into bundles of 100. You know what they did after that? Despite the fact that it rained all day, they untied each bundle of 100 and 10 of them spent the day throwing them onto a fire that they fed with gasoline and timber. Cannabis does cause psychosis, mate. It's Canberra, the whole lot. It causes psychosis. Now, the purpose of doing that activity of growing an unlicensed hemp crop was to actually test where the boundaries of these laws are. There's some tantalising inclusions in the Drugs Misuse and Trafficking Act which allow fibre. One of the exemptions from what they call cannabis leaf. And remember, cannabis leaf is heads, leaf and seed. It's just the way they define things. But fibre without drug is specifically exempted. Now, also, because of the efforts of a lot of activists in 1999, hemp seed oil and hemp seed products were also exempted, although most of the people in the judiciary and certainly the police just refused to accept it. Even when you hold the law up, hold the law books up in front of their eyes, they simply won't accept it. And we're tussling over the possession of 42 kilos of seed at this moment, but I do hope to get it back shortly. Anyway, I have since been convicted. The judge assured the jury there was no difference between a plant grown for fibre purposes and a plant grown for drug purposes. And the population at this stage, I regret to inform, and here we're not looking at that sort, Australia's got a lot of sheep, and on that day 12 of them wandered into the jury pen and did exactly what the wolf in Judge's Clothing told them to do. He said, you must convict. Cannabis is cannabis is cannabis. We're dealing with some fairly closed minds and hard opinions here. Now let's go back a little more. Back in 2000, Mr. Carr, whose name literally will live in infamy, said no decent government can stand by while people suffer when cannabis could relieve their suffering. Now, I stood by for 2.5 years, writing letters to Mr. Carr constantly. We got no response at all, and then out of the depths of his insular office came these words: cannabis can only be smoked, there's no other way of giving it, and we'll never have smoking as a medical product. My response to that was to go onto the Katelaris TV show with some of the tincture that had been developed by some of the sort of the caring and compassionate activists out there who grow excellent cannabis and turn it into a very, very effective tincture for use in a range of medical products. We went on there with some of the sick patients to demonstrate that these things are a reality. It's not something we just talk about, they're actually a reality now. And the response by that was being called into the medical tribunal. Now, if I thought the judge was a bad man, the guys in the tribunal must have sort of cut their milk teeth pulling wings off butterflies and things like that. They're seriously unpleasant and deranged people. I thought the medical board, the medical tribunal, in fact the medical system ran on science. That's always what they're talking about, evidence-based medicine. Where's your data? And things like that. There's a massive body of data come out of England now with the excellent work of GW Pharmaceuticals. Thousands of people have been treated now for interest. And all this carping about cannabis and psychosis, I take a contrary view. I have exceptionally rare cases of cannabis-associated psychosis, but in thousands of medical patients given pure product in a relaxed situation, there's no problem whatsoever. George Patton he was a professor of adolescent health from Adelaide University, wanted to get his little 5 minutes of fame, so he actually produced a paper saying teenage girls that took cannabis ended up depressed in later life, and that achieved an enormous amount of publicity, and now all the teenage girls are wandering around wondering when the depression's going to hit. I was invited to debate the facts with him, so I checked his papers very carefully, and what he had established was that teenage girls that use cannabis and get arrested and get a criminal record end up depressed. Now, you don't need to be a genius